Hey everyone, this is a scratch-built remote-controlled airplane that I built. I designed it to kind of resemble the Cessna 172, but it's not really exactly scale at all. I just kind of looked at a picture and designed it off of it. The electronics I use for this is the same setup that I use for almost all of my other scratch-built airplanes, and that consists of a Park 480 850 kV brushless motor, spinning a 10 by 4.7 propeller, 30 amp speed controller, an OrangeRX R620 receiver, and 4 Turnigy 9018 metal geared servos. This plane has a wingspan of 52 inches and its length is about 36 inches, including the spinner and the elevator. I built this plane all out of Dollar Tree foam board, and I glued it together with Gorilla Glue and hot glue and covered pretty much all of it with packing tape and duct tape. To get the paint scheme, I used red and black duct tape. The horizontal stabilizer is 20 inches wide. The movable elevator is 3 inches by 20 inches all the way across. The rudder on this plane is 2 inches by 10 inches tall. This was the first plane that I actually designed that had a tapered tail. All of my previous planes have just been squared at the back, and I think this looks a lot better. It kind of makes it look more like a real plane and not look so boxy, even though it still is pretty square. The wing has a chord of 10 inches and is about maybe 3/4 of an inch thick at its thickest point. And I just stacked 3 pieces of foam all the way across to make a spar that's about 1 inch wide. And then I put a bunch of wooden dowels inside of it to strengthen it up. I used 2 separate pieces of foam board and folded the foam over on itself to create the wing. The tips are under cambered so that hopefully prevents tip stalls. The ailerons are 2.5 inches wide and 18 inches long. The motor is mounted on a motor mount that I built from popsicle sticks. It only uses 2 popsicle sticks, and there's 2 layers stacked on top of each other, and then that is Gorilla Glued onto a foam firewall that I built using 2 pieces of insulation board that's about 1 inch thick. And then I just screwed the motor mount onto the popsicle sticks, and it works very well. I haven't had one come apart yet. To access the battery compartment, I just used a piece of poster board instead of a piece of foam board, and the poster board works well because it's flat and it doesn't stick up too much like the foam board would if I used the foam hatch. I'm using 2 wooden dowels on the fuselage that I attached the rubber bands to that hold the wing on. I have some popsicle sticks on the inside and outside beside the wooden dowels that keep them from moving the foam and bending it. The battery has Velcro on it and is Velcroed to the bottom of the fuselage, and I have 2 pieces of Velcro that I can wrap around the battery to hold it down even tighter. I had to use pretty long push rods for the elevator and rudder servos because I wanted to keep the center of gravity closer to the front so the wing wasn't too far back. For all the control horns, I used old credit cards and gift cards that I cut up. I can make 2 control horns from 1 gift card. The ESC is mounted on the outside to give it better airflow so it doesn't overheat, and it's just held on with a zip tie that goes through into the fuselage and is wrapped around a popsicle stick that's glued on the inside of the fuselage. The landing gear on this plane is actually from the Super Cub float set. I modified it a little bit and put the old Super Cub wheels on it, and I took the plastic part out of the battery box of the Super Cub and glued it inside of this plane as a spot to mount the landing gear onto, and it's worked well so far. It pops out sometimes, but it's never broken yet. I have a rubber band wrapped around it just to keep it tight into the fuselage so it doesn't fall off. And then there's another rubber band that kind of acts as like an axle that keeps the wheels from spreading out too much when you land because they're not very strong. And I have a skid on the tail that's just a piece of insulation board, and I used a credit card on the bottom to keep it from wearing down the foam. Oh, the front of the cowl is also made out of poster board, and the sides can fold out too, and I can just cut a small slit in the poster board and fold out the sides to access the motor more easily. And I have had to do that a couple times to angle it down a little bit. The wing struts on this plane are just for show. They don't actually really support the wing at all. The wing is strong enough on its own, but I just think they look cool. And they're held on with Velcro on each side, on the wing and on the bottom of the fuselage. So thanks a lot for watching this overview, and here's a video of the maiden flight of this plane. After the first flight, the nose would pitch up severely when I gave it throttle, and this initially made me think that it was tail heavy. So to counteract this, I would move the battery forward and added some more weight to the nose, but it would still pitch up when I gave it throttle, and when I cut the throttle it would nose down, so that made me think that it was actually still nose heavy and it was balanced correctly. So I ended up having to angle the motor down a little bit, and that solved the problem very well. You can see my first couple landings with this plane were not very good, but after tweaking it and messing around with it and learning how to fly it a little better, I was able to get some pretty good landings here. So thanks a lot for watching this video, and if you like it, please subscribe to my channel and rate this video if you want. And if you have any questions, please leave it in the comments and I'll be sure to answer those as soon as possible. I'll be making plenty more RC planes in the future, so always check back to see what I built and check out my other planes that I built so far.